Well, good afternoon and welcome again to Arthur Brown Photography. Today, as promised, I'm going to start talking about some of the prime lenses that I bought for the Sony system when I sold up and left Canon and joined the Sony stable. My first Sony body was the FX3 cinema camera, which I'm using at the moment to film this. And then more recently, on Black Friday, I bought a Sony A7 IV model, which I've already talked about. Now, back during the end of last summer when I bought my FX3, I didn't have any lenses at all, so I just picked up a cheap second-hand 28 to 70 just to get me started, because that's the cheapest lens in the Sony range. I then went ahead and bought a couple more lenses. I bought a 24 to 105 f4 zoom, and I bought a 20mm f1.8 prime lens. Now, my rationale for buying the 20mm lens was that when I was using the Micro Four Thirds system, the lens I used the most for general video work was the 9mm Leica f1.4 lens. But that 9mm translates to about 18mm in full frame terms, and the 20mm Sony f1.8 was the nearest affordable option for that system. Since then, I've picked up a few more lenses, some Sony and some independent. But after I got going with the Sony system, the one focal length I found I missed was 35mm. When I had my Canon system, the 35mm Sigma f1.4 art lens was one of the ones that I did use a lot. Now, I looked at replacing that, but it's quite a large, bulky lens, quite heavy. And at the time, I was trying to find a lens that was small enough and light enough to fit on my gimbal. The gimbal I had was the Scorpio Mini, which I'd bought when I was using the Canon 70D, and with the light lens that was fine. But I find that even with the lighter 35mm lens, the Sony bodies were a bit heavy for the gimbal, so I've since sold that now. I'm not sure whether I'll buy another one because I hardly ever used it anyway. So, but what I was looking for was a small pancake type, lightweight, short lens for the Sony system that would be good for discrete photography and discrete video work. And the one that came out at the top really, or a pair of them, was the 24mm and 35mm Samyang f2.8 models. Now, these are quite cheap and they're probably a bit flimsy, but I thought, well, because of the very lightweight and small size, I would give one of them a try. I didn't really need a 24mm lens because I've got that focal length and in other lenses, and the 35 was probably my favourite anyway. So I went ahead and bought that, and I've now got that actually attached to my my Sony A7 IV. It's actually proved to be, I think, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, you do lose a couple of stops of light over the Sigma art lenses, but the weight saving is tremendous. I'm getting to an age now where carrying heavy camera equipment is just not a practical option. So I need to go for something that is light as possible. And I found that provided that you've got reasonable lighting, the Samyang 35mm f2.8 actually provides very, very good results. So what I'm going to do next, I think, is to go into some video and still shots that I've taken using this 35mm f2.8 lens on both the FX3 and on the A7 IV.